everybody. Welcome back to Jenny Talks. Great to see everybody again. So, today I'm going to talk about quitting smoking. So, a lot of people do not know, probably out there in the YouTube world, that I was a very heavy smoker for many years. I would say maybe 33 years total I smoked.
Damn.
Started right around freshman year of high school. I started because I thought it was cool. My dad smoked. He ended up quitting shortly after I started. So I thought I was hiding it. Come to find out years later as an adult, I was not hiding it well. My mom said they knew what I was doing the whole time. I don't think they knew to the extent of how much I smoked, but.
Well, now they know.
So what I want to talk a little bit about is how things change for you after you quit smoking. And just to make this extremely clear to everybody, I am not here to tell you to stop smoking if you are a current smoker. Because as I have frequently told people in my life, if there was a way for me to smoke and it not be bad for me, I would smoke all the time. I love a good cigarette after dinner. I love a cigarette when I'm driving, talking on the phone, typing on the computer. Not even kidding. Totally would do it. So the reason I quit was because I got diagnosed with COPD. I have a very small percentage. They go by percentages for COPD. I think mine's at like 10%, which is not great, but it's not horrible either. Even after I got diagnosed, I said, you know what? I'll just cut back on my smoking. I did not cut back on my smoking. It got to the point where I was getting up in the middle of the night to use the restroom, and instead of going back to bed, I decided, you know what would be really good right now is a cigarette. So, not good. One day I was laying on the couch just watching TV, hanging out, and it felt like my lungs were just fire is the only way I can describe. Worse than any hot flash I've ever had. So I said, you know what? I think it's time. So went to my doctor, got on the patch. I knew I wasn't going to be able to do it cold turkey. Got on the patch. Patch was great. Worked for me. May not work for others. Worked for me. It was hard the first day. Oh, felt like I was going to come out of my skin. Made sure that when I was driving, I was on the phone with somebody for the first couple days, especially driving home in the traffic, because that's when I would smoke a lot, especially if you get stuck in a traffic jam. I would say after the second or third, probably the third week, I really started to dissipate the cravings a little bit because I had the patch. Sometimes I forget I had it on and fall asleep with it, which I guess you're not supposed to do. It's supposed to make you have crazy dreams. I have crazy dreams anyway, so who's it gonna hurt? Anyway, so that is my little journey of how I quit and how I decided to quit. Again, if you smoke, more power to you. That's not what this is about. I love food, as you can tell by looking at me, because it is even more delicious now. When they say that you gain weight after smoking, very true. Even if you try so hard not to eat a lot. For me, what I ended up doing was when I smoked, I would have a cigarette after I ate dinner, lunch, breakfast, anything. Instead of a cigarette, I said, you know what? Dessert would be great. I don't need dessert after every meal. And I gained probably 30 pounds. One of the reasons I'm very glad that I quit smoking was because when COVID hit, I had already quit, and I think I probably would have been way worse off. But yes, food is definitely something that's a very nice substitute, shall we say, for smoking. Your taste buds really do change. I didn't believe that when people that had quit would tell me that, but a good example I always give is I used to buy at the grocery store, I would buy the grocery store brand vegetables. Thought they tasted fine. I always put butter in mine and some seasoning. Well, they really don't taste that good. Ended up spending the extra 50 cents and getting the name brand. Not to be bougie. My can of corn is now $1.25 instead of $1. Your taste buds change. I used to eat a lot of spicy stuff, and I can't do that as much anymore. It really does bother me. I have discovered chocolate tastes 1,000 times better when you don't smoke. If chocolate is ever outlawed, I don't know what'll happen to me. It's delicious. What was another food that I used to be able to eat? Another thing that changed is I don't do clearing my throat a lot. Like when you smoke, you go a lot.
Ma'am.
Because you're tearing up your throat from all the smoke. Don't do that anymore. Kind of nice. I never was a huge cougher when I smoked. However, every year I got bronchitis. And as smokers know, we would have to go outside to smoke at work. And you're just pulling in that cold air in your lungs every time you inhale on that cigarette. And we all end up with it eventually. So glad to not get that as much anymore. I do feel better. My GERD is not as bad as it used to be. I do still have a little bit of heartburn every once in a while, but I'm definitely have taken myself off the prescription medication and just taking the $3 drugstore brand. I think if I still smoked, I would not have done my weight loss as well. I have definitely been able to work out more at the gym when I go because I quit smoking. Where before I would go to the gym, have a cigarette on my way into the gym, and then have one when I was done. I'm also going to be here longer. They say smoking takes 10 years off your life. Fully believe that. I've given myself COPD. I have nobody to blame but myself for that. I've shortened my life because of that, and that's it. It never gets better. I will have COPD forever. I had a great support team. I still have friends that smoke, and you know what? I love the smell. I remember when my mom and I went to the mall to help Susan, my daughter, find her prom dress. Somebody had just had a cigarette. We were in the store and I could smell it, and I literally followed this person for about 5 or 6 steps so I could smell the smoke. It's ridiculous. I'm ridiculous. But again, I would do it if I could. Totally do it if I could. So it has been almost 7 years since I quit. I'm very glad that I did do it because I have thought about it. There's been some stressful times in my life with Susan's health. She did have a stroke a couple years ago, and boy, oh boy, it would have been really nice to go up to the corner store and get a pack of cigarettes, menthol, and have one. However, I know if I ever smoke a cigarette again, I will be right back to where I was and how I was feeling and my lungs feeling horrible, and I just won't do that to myself again. That's it for me. I just thought it'd be something kind of cool to talk about and maybe share an experience with. And if you are having trouble smoking, maybe something I said will help you. That's all I'm here for. I hope everybody has a great night. Love y'all.